It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Fairmont State's head women's basketball coach, Coach Stephanie Anderson. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
I didn't. Um, when I was going to college, I wanted to be a physical therapist. So actually, after I finished playing, I was taking a year off and I was coaching an AAU team. And the head women's coach here at Fairmont State was actually recruiting a player on my AAU team. So he had come to a couple practices, and then he had actually lost his assistant. So during that process, he had asked me to be his assistant for Fairmont. And so I was like, sure, why not? Let's try it out. And then once I became the assistant here, I've loved it ever since.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to play collegiate basketball for California and Pennsylvania?
Uh, Amazing. I think it's an honor anytime that you get to play college basketball. I think that all of the things that you learn from playing college and having a team and being pushed is something that's just it's unique and it's invaluable. It was great, and I had an amazing time at Cal U. I loved it. I learned a lot and made a lot of great friendships along the way.
Of course, at Cal U, what was that experience like getting to put on that jersey and representing them?
The culture was extremely strong, so I think there was a lot of pressure to make sure that we maintain it and we held the standard at a very high level. So I liked that aspect of it, and I think that it allowed us to grow and prepare us for what was ahead in life.
While competing in college, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Yeah, for our team, we made it to the NCAA tournament 3 out of the 4 years, which was awesome. Um, or my last year, we made it to the Sweet 16, and that was a lot of fun. So pretty much that.
While in college, what was that like getting to compete for 3 NCAA tournaments?
It was special, especially now that I'm a coach. I guess I took that for granted as a player. It was just for me. I thought as a player, it was what we did at Cal. I thought that you just NCAA tournaments would occur, and you just make it, and you see how far you can go. And then when I became a coach, I realized how hard it is to actually make the NCAA tournament. Um, and so now looking back, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. Um, but it was an amazing experience. The NCAA made us feel extremely special, and it was a great environment.
As a player, what was that experience like going to 3 NCAA tournaments in your 4 years?
I think that's similar to what you just asked, so I'd say the same.
Of course, what was that transition like going from being a player to getting into the coaching world?
Different, very. I think when I was a player, I thought the coaches just kind of planned practice and, only did basketball. So I was like, oh. And then when I got into the coaching world, there's so many things that are involved that you don't realize as a player. Um, there's a lot of ins and outs that go behind the scenes that you have to do to make everything occur. Um, it was a big transition. I mean, when you're young and you start coaching, obviously there's a line you have to draw with the players because you're a year older than them or whatever it may be. And trying to find that balance can be difficult. And I think the older that you get and the more experience that you have, I mean, they always tell you when you're young that you can't teach experience, and it's true. Because every year I learn a ton, and I'm like, I did that wrong. I should probably learn and grow from that, make sure I don't do that again. So I think you just every year you learn and you take what you liked and what you didn't like, and you try to grow upon it.
How was your experience like in getting to first become the assistant coach at Fairmount State?
Um, it was good. I was really just wanting to learn, just to figure it all out. It was fun just being around the game and competing in a different aspect, and just trying to figure out what this all was.
What were some of your biggest accomplishments as the assistant coach?
Um, As the assistant coach, I mean, our team was up and down, but we had 100% graduation rate, which was awesome. All of the players that came through our program as an assistant, they all graduated, which was great. Um, and watching them go on and have great careers and stay connected with one another was awesome. And I think just as an assistant, just learning. I think that's all you really can do is just learn, learn, learn.
As a college basketball coach, what was that transition like from going from being an assistant coach at Fairmount to becoming the next head coach?
Stressful. Uh, it's a lot. Just all of a sudden, everything was on my plate, and everything is, whether it's good, bad, ugly, it's all falls on you, which is comes with the territory, I guess. It puts more pressure on you for sure to make sure that you're growing, to make sure that you're pushing your players in the right way, because at the end of the day, that's who they look at.
How was that feeling like for you to get announced to become the next head coach at Fairmount State?
It was exciting. It's a new door that's opening, and it's a new endeavor that you're going into, and I was excited. I had no idea what I was in for.
Of course, what was that feeling like the first time you got to step onto that court as a head coach?
The nervous, like I didn't sleep. I was excited, but nervous as all get out. And our first game went to overtime, and we won, which was ecstatic. But then the next day we got killed. So it was like, whoo, well, that humbled you very fast. So, but very nervous, but it was a lot of fun.
As a head coach, what has that been like, obviously getting to build the coaching staff around you and the players around you?
It's been really cool. So my associate head coach I brought her on the same time as I came. So when I got hired, I hired Mickey Glenn, who is my associate head coach at the same time. So we've basically built it together. And we recruited a group of freshmen, and watching them grow over the time and just get better and better and embrace what we're trying to teach them has been a really cool atmosphere. And our first our first year with that recruiting class, we only won 7 games, and then we won 14, and then last year we won 23. So just watching their hard work pay off and grow every single year has been very rewarding, in the sense that they're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort, and it's paying off for them.
While being head coach, what are some of your accomplishments this far?
Um, I mean, as a coach, it's always about your athletes. I mean, anything that you can do for them to help them grow, that's what it's about. So just watching, we have a couple that, are going off, and one's in PT school. We have one that's going to play overseas, one that's getting married. I mean, they're all doing different things. And it's, when they leave here, that's what it's about is, of course you want them to have an amazing career while they're here and to grow and learn a lot. But once they leave, it's even more important that they're able to survive in the life afterwards. So watching them be able to get onto their next endeavors and excel in those is really rewarding.
What was that experience like for you to get that first win as a head coach?
Ecstatic. You're pumped. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. It felt you were relieved to get it over with, right? Because I mean, we won our first game, so I guess I don't know what it would have been like if we would have lost our first 5. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I ever gonna win? So to win the first one was nice. Yeah.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to build for the Fairmount State program?
Um, we really just want our kids to be extremely tough and to work really hard and have great attitudes, be good teammates. So I think, over the course, we've just really tried to instill the toughness, to make sure that, you know, we set the tone every single day, and just to make sure that we're working very hard. And I think that's what we've been able to build over time and add on to it each and every day.
Who are some of the teams that are in your conference that you compete against each week?
We're part of the Mountain East Conference, so most of the schools are in West Virginia. We have a couple outlier schools. Frostburg is in Maryland, and Notre Dame is in Cleveland, Ohio. But for the most part, it's just the rest of the Division II schools that are in the state of West Virginia. So it's been a fantastic conference. It's extremely competitive. It's very high scoring. It's a lot of fun to watch.
What is that home game atmosphere like?
We have a lot of great fans. So they provide a fantastic atmosphere. We have a lot of people that follow our program. So we have a lot of support, which is good and it's unique. And I think that makes the game day atmosphere really fun.
For you as a head coach, what does that game day look like preparing for the game?
I mean, all the prep work is done leading up to it. We try to prep our athletes as much as we can with film and practice prior to game day. On game day, that's the players, right? I mean, we want, that's their day to do everything that they've worked for. I'm nervous every game day, because it's important. So, beforehand, you really don't do a whole lot on game day. I mean, you've got your shoot around, your pregame meal, all of that. But besides that, you're just kind of waiting around for it to come.
As a head coach and a coach, do you have any game day routines and rituals that you do to prepare for the game?
I pray before every game, but that's about I mean, our routine as a team is always the same, with the pregame meal, shoot around, all of that. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty similar every day, but that's about the only routine that I actually have. Yeah.
Of course, what is that feeling like getting to step onto that court and getting to coach and lead the team?
It's an honor. I think that anytime that you're able to lead anybody in life is something that you shouldn't take for granted. Anytime that you have access to another person and you're able to help them out, I mean, I think that's special. So,
What is that home game advantage like versus going away and getting to compete away?
uh, it's good. I mean, I think that anytime that you're at home, it's just comfortable. It's where you practice. It's where you are. You got to sleep in your own bed the night before. So I think there's always an advantage to that.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play collegiate basketball?
It's obviously changed over the years, but for us, we really like to recruit high school kids. So we'll watch them, obviously juniors, seniors, honestly sophomore, junior, seniors. We like to go recruit regionally. So with anything within like a 5-hour radius is pretty much where we try to look at. I mean, honestly, word of mouth is a lot too. We have a lot of coaches that reach out to us, and if we have ones that we have good relationships or programs that we really like, that's always extremely helpful. And then just keeping your eye on those kids and then building a relationship with them, and then you have them up on campus and see what happens.
As a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes when going out on the road recruiting them?
No, first off, I want to see how hard they work. Their attitude, if it's a bad attitude, it's a no. You were told that as a player when you're in high school all the time, like make sure you have a good attitude, you're cheering on your teammates, all that the coaches are looking for it. And that's 100% true. We are. We are extremely defensive minded. So we want to make sure that the player is able to defend, and just have if you have a little toughness or grit to you whenever you play, that's obviously something that sticks out to us as well.
Of course, what does that official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to Fairmount?
Whenever they come to Fairmont, usually we bring them in. We host the entire visit. So we'll show them around our facilities, show them around campus, show them the dorms. And then we usually eat at Chick-fil-A because it's located on campus. And then we usually have them meet with any academia people that they're interested in. And that's pretty much it.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that burgundy uniform for the first time?
It's fun. They're super excited. They're nervous. I think it's a similar feeling probably for the first time whenever we get to coach, for them getting to debut that. It's really cool to see.
Of course, what is that feeling like getting to see them get those first career wins and those first career milestones?
Rewarding. They work extremely hard. So whenever you see any milestone hit or something that they've been working hard to achieve, it's just like a proud parent. I mean, you're so happy for them because that's what you wanted for them this whole time, but you can't make it happen, right? They have to make it happen, with your guidance. And so whenever those occur, you're proud. I mean, it could bring you to tears because you're so excited for them.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing your seniors put on that uniform for the last time?
Sad. Um, it's sad for sure. It's bittersweet. I mean, you grow with these kids for 4 years now, with COVID, 5 years, it seems. And whenever you finally see them do it for the last time, it's bittersweet for sure. they've had usually amazing careers, and then now that they're ending one phase of their life and going into another, and it's challenging whenever that sport has been meant something to you for so long.
What is that feeling like as a head coach, getting to see them go on into their career paths or even go into professional basketball?
No, it's exciting. It's cool to follow them along and see where they land, um, and keep contact with them.
What are some of your future goals for the Fairmont State's women's basketball program moving forward?
Just to continue to grow. We'd like to obviously sustain success, but by doing that, you have to have good people and you have to groom good people and make sure that we're doing the right things every day. So, just continuing to grow and learn ourselves so then we can also push that on our athletes.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to enter college women's basketball?
Mm, just to be prepared to adapt, to work hard, to be challenged. It's going to be new. It's going to be hard. Nothing's ever as hard as your freshman year. But give yourself grace along the way.
What advice would you give those freshmen entering their first year of collegiate women's basketball?
The same thing I just said, probably.
What advice would you give those people that are in college looking to go play professionally after their playing career in college?
Honestly, I wouldn't know because I didn't play professionally. So I don't think I'd have great advice. Probably the same thing though. Be adaptable, be ready for it to be hard, to change, to grow, all that good stuff.
What advice would you give those basketball players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
uh, be ready to do all of the little things. There's never something that's too small for you to do. I think there's always an area to learn and to grow. And you'll learn things whether it's good or bad. Just be willing to work and I think the biggest thing is making yourself reliable, and also make yourself needed. I mean, there's a lot of coaches out there, but whenever you get a position on a staff, make yourself valuable. Make sure that you're doing the small things. Make sure that your coach can rely on you, and make sure that you're extremely trustworthy. And I think that if you do those, then you can grow your role, and you can continue to go up the ladder.
What advice would you give those assistant coaches out there looking to get into becoming a head coach one day?
The same thing I just said, probably. Yeah.
What advice would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Be patient, learn. I don't know. I'm still learning on that as well. I think stay true to who you are. The faster you figure out what's important to you and your staff, the faster you can implement that on your players. Because if you don't know who you are and your staff and what you want, it's really hard to mold that onto your players. But if you're sure on what's important to you, you can pass that along and grow your culture in that way.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Fairmont State's women's basketball program at?
We have an Instagram account and we have a Twitter account, and they're both Falcons women's basketball. I'm looking because I don't handle that and I'm not really sure. I think it's under Falcons women's basketball. You could just probably delete that. I'm not sure.
Thank you again, Coach Stephanie Anderson, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the Fairmont State as the head women's basketball coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Stephanie Anderson, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.